Today's dollar isn't the same kind of dollar that the old folks used to stash in coffee cans and mason jars out back. After the inflation that we've all lived through in the last few years, holding a pile of cash just to save up a life savings doesn't really work as a plan anymore. Maybe it still makes sense to keep some cash on hand, but stuffing money in a mattress isn't a strategy, it's a slow leak. At the same time, a lot of people are getting crushed by credit card debt at 20 to 30% interest, and the cost of everyday life has gotten pretty weird. Like a regular pickup truck can cost what a house used to cost just a few years ago. So, one of the things I want to talk about on this channel is what makes value value and how to make better decisions in a world where the rules feel like they're changing because they are changing. We're in a moment where AI is starting to replace a lot of entry level jobs, and robotics is right behind it for physical work, especially the kind of jobs where people are basically treated like robots already. And I'm still somewhat optimistic that new kinds of jobs will appear and new industries will form that we can't fully see yet, but that's not really guaranteed, and it's something we're going to have to watch out for. AI has also been sold as this thing that will lower the cost of goods by making production more efficient. And maybe that happens over time, but right now it often feels like everything is just costing more and not less. There are some signs that certain AI compute costs have come down since the early days of ChatGPT, but it's still expensive to build and run these systems at scale. So I'm not taking any of the promises at face value. I want to see how the real world responds. That's why I'm also going to be looking at side jobs, side hustles, small businesses, especially service businesses, because a lot of the wealthy people that I listen to keep coming back to service industries. They're harder for AI and robots to replace quickly. And at the end of the day, I'm still about doing something valuable and earning an exchange for it. But there's a bigger looming question behind all of this. Even if you can produce something efficiently, who's going to buy it if the people's income is getting squeezed or job options shrink? And that's part of what makes this moment feel different. These aren't just money tips that I'm talking about. There's structural shifts that are happening. I also believe that money tends to flow towards the people who pay it the most attention, and so I'm going to be keeping my eye more on the macro events and the financial headlines, stocks, crypto, commodities, and whatever else is shaping where money is moving, because it really does feel like money is entering a new kind of an era. There are some strange questions on the horizon too, like AI needing to transact with other AI, and some people think that crypto rails could play a role there. I'm skeptical, but I'm not ignoring it either. So I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin a little bit, and you can do with that what you want, but there are real questions hanging over it, like whether quantum computing becomes disruptive enough to break assumptions that crypto depends on. And if that ever happens, you could see panic moves into other safe haven assets like gold and silver. And we're already seeing more attention on hard assets. Gold and silver have had major moves just in the last year in 2025, and commodities are back into the conversation. Even though we've been arguing about sound money since long before 1971, the question still stands. If you don't trust cash to hold value, then where do you put your savings? Historically, I have been more of a fundamentals guy, which is just an easy way for me to say that I know nothing about charting. But I'm going to start learning some charting anyway, at least enough to make sense of what I'm looking at. Right now, I know that there are some AI systems and bots that can trade faster and better than any human. And that's part of the reason why this is complicated. But even if you never place a trade in your life, I still think that there's value in being able to glance at a chart and understand the basics. Not just candles go up and down, but things like what volume is telling you, what RSI is suggesting, and like what people mean by support and resistance, Fibonacci retracements, and why traders care. I'm not pretending that charts are magic. A lot of technical analysis is backward looking, and markets can be manipulated. But I do think that having a basic ability to read what you're seeing can help you stay oriented, especially when you combine it with the understanding the news and the underlying reasons that an asset's moving. And that's really the heart of what I'm doing here. And I'm exploring where money is right now, what's changing, and where opportunities might exist. Whether that's through smarter financial habits or smarter attention, side income, or small businesses. I'm not coming from Wall Street. I've been a truck driver for over 20 years. So I'm not interested in burying people in financial jargon or try to talk like I'm a suit on a trading desk. I want to keep this practical and grounded. Basic guy, basic language, while we try to make sense of a not so basic moment in history. We're on the frontier and we're exploring, trying to find some treasure in today's economy and trying to avoid the traps along the way. So if that kind of conversation is useful to you, stick around and I'll see you in the next one.